show you how I handle a long line with a flight risk rescue dog. The same technique is applicable to reactive or nervous dogs or those on limited exercise. The idea is to allow the dog freedom of movement while also maintaining the ability for close control and communication with them. It's important for both you and your dog's safety that you minimize any big jolts or hard stops, and this technique should help you with that. I like to use a 10-meter line made of waterproof BioThane, ideally with a detachable handle, as you see here. This is a Landela Dogs medium weight line. They are also available in lightweight for smaller dogs. BioThane tangles and snags less than fabric webbing and doesn't absorb moisture and dirt. The important thing to aim for on a successful long line walk is minimal tension through the lead while also being able to quickly direct or slow your dog. To achieve this, you should aim to have around 50 to 100 centimeters of slack between you and your dog as a baseline that you always return to. This means that while your dog feels unrestricted and able to move as they wish, you are quickly able to slow them, redirect them, or stop them from doing anything you'd prefer them not to do. This technique also creates less tangling up and minimises hard jolts, as your dog shouldn't be able to build up much speed before the lead comes into tension and you can control their speed as they move away from you. This is especially important in this clip here, as the dog I'm working with is a severe flight risk and this was her second day with me. She's on a martingale collar, as this is the safest option for her, so I really want to make sure there are no hard stops through the lead. This is how I coil my long line. With my hand through the handle, I lay loops of the line into my palm, back and forth. As you practice this, you'll begin to take regular lengths of the lead and your coils will sit neatly together. As your dog moves further away from you, you can then release the loops without them getting caught up. By squeezing your other hand as you do this, you can regulate the speed. I call this the brake hand. You need to keep an eye on your dog and watch their movement so that you can take in or release the slack as needed. So here Willow has stopped, and as I catch up with her, I coil the lead as quickly as I can so that when she decides to run again, she's got less slack to accelerate with, and I can slow her by letting the lead out steadily. I can also anticipate a jolt and start jogging so I can minimize the impact on either of us. When working with recall, you can suddenly find yourself with lots of slack. To prevent your dog shooting right back to the end of the line again, you can pick the lead up near to your dog instead and start coiling from there, or just let it run out through your brake hand. In these clips, Willow's only just starting to understand the distances she can be from me and what to do if she feels tension on the lead. I use the command slowly as I slow her, so that I can begin to use it later to ask her to slow herself. To help her understand that tension on the lead means she's moving too far from me, when she gets to the end of the line, I like to stop and wait.
Yes.
If she turns to make eye contact or check in, I reward with a yes and then continue moving. Here, I'm just picking up the lead to control that level of slack. I would normally be coiling, but I'm trying to film.
Good girl, yes, good girl.
I also reward and praise any spontaneous check-ins.
Slowly, slowly, nice.
Here, she actually stops before the end of the lead, which is really nice progress.
Nice.
Sometimes Willow moves very quickly and continues to add tension quicker than I can release it, so I do also use gentle tugs to help slow her down and to try to get her to focus on me. Here, Willow was scared by the lead rolling over some leaves. Rather than allowing her to run away, I encourage her to come back so we can experience the same thing without as much shock and with some positive associations. I'm giving her some space, but also making sure that the slack is being managed so that if she gets scared again, she doesn't bolt and scare herself more. I'm also trying to keep an eye on the lead at her feet to prevent tangling. More on that later. When walking past things that might be a bit scary, I reduce the length of lead so as to avoid any fleeing off the path and to help reassure her. I try to control her speed so that she doesn't flee and scare herself even further.
Good girl, it's okay. It's okay.
Willow is scared of the golfers on our right and tries to take the left path, but I'm able to guide her straight on.
Come on. Good girl. Nice.
Now that I can see she's more relaxed, I let her take the
Nice.
lead, have a look around with some praise
Yes.
before moving on.
Come on then. Clever girl.
Even with this technique, tangles can occur, and the best way out of them, rather than lifting your dog's feet, is to simply pull the lead to create lots of loose slack, and your dog can simply step away from it. Getting the lead in the right place with minimal interaction and fuss is preferable for you and your dog. Inevitably, in more wooded areas, long lines can get tangled around bushes and trees. I like to grab the lead close to your dog and drop the handle side. If you have a detachable handle, now's the time to detach and pull the rest of the lead through the bush with much less chance of it snagging. Then you can reattach and move on. If at any point your coils have got tangled or confused, it's absolutely fine to completely drop them and just start again. It happens to the best of us. Pinch points, or any narrowing of the path or gates, can be a real challenge for some rescue dogs. Here I'm using the long line to give Willow lots of space to come to me in her own time. However, I don't want her to bolt out the other side of this bridge with 10 metres of acceleration.
Nice. Slowly.
So I make sure to pick up the lead close to her and help her move calmly out the other side.
Good girl. This way. Gonna go this way. Nice.
Long line walks are best in quiet, open areas, but you can take your long line to a busy park too. There are lots of stages of long line use depending on your dog's age and level of training. For some dogs, they're a stepping stone to off-lead freedom, and for other dogs, long lines might always be the best way to keep them safe. Handling is a real skill, and as you get more comfortable with it, walk should be easy and stress-free for both of you. As your dog begins to learn to stay close to you and their recall and reliability increases, or when you're in areas you're both confident in, you might want to move towards allowing more slack and only holding the handle, or indeed dropping the lead altogether and using it as a recall tool or backup for when encountering distractions. If you are at this stage, your long line should be on the harness, not a collar, and I recommend detaching the handle or using a lead without a handle to prevent snagging in bushes and undergrowth. Here's a bonus on how I wrap up my Landela Dogs lead using the detachable handle at the end of our walks, so it's ready for the next one. Good luck and happy adventures.